Hey everyone, if you're an accountancy student and your big goal is conquering the LECPA, then this is for you. We're going to talk about how to make profitability ratios stick, not just for your next quiz, but for the next 3 years, all the way to board exam day. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's be real for a second. Does this sound familiar? You cram for that quiz on profitability and margins, you absolutely nail it, and then, like a week later, poof, it's gone, vanished from your brain. Trust me, you are not alone. This is the classic cram and forget trap, and it's the biggest enemy on your road to becoming a CPA.
But hey, don't worry, we've got a game plan. First, we'll talk about that memory gap. Then, we're going to turn these boring ratios into a story you can't forget. We'll break down the formulas, I'll give you some brain hacks built for the LPA, and we'll finish with a super fast review to lock it all in.
All right, first things first. If you're finding it hard to remember things long-term, I need you to hear this. It's not you, it's not your brain. It's the method.
Think about it. The path to getting that CPA license is a total marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Just memorizing facts and formulas? Well, that's like trying to run a marathon on a sugar rush. It's just not going to last the distance.
So here it is. This is the big secret. The whole key is to stop trying to memorize a bunch of random formulas and to start understanding the simple story that these numbers are trying to tell us.
And that story, it basically has 3 chapters. We're talking about the big 3 profitability margins: gross, operating, and net. Seriously, just think of them as the beginning, middle, and end of a company's financial story for the year.
So, Chapter 1 is the gross profit margin. This is profit at its most basic level. It answers one simple question. After paying for the raw materials and the labor to make the product, how much money is left from a sale? It's all about how efficiently you can make your stuff.
Now for Chapter 2, the plot thickens. Here, we start to subtract the costs of actually running the business. Things like marketing, rent, salaries for the office staff. The operating profit margin shows us what's left after all that. It's a fantastic way to see how well the business is actually managed day to day.
And finally, we get to the end of the story, the net profit margin. This is what people usually mean when they talk about profit. It's the bottom line. The final slice of the pie left for the owners after every single thing, including interest on loans and taxes, has been paid. It's the ultimate report card on profitability.
Okay, so now that we get the story, let's connect it to the actual formulas. But remember, we're not memorizing here. We are connecting the math to the story we just learned.
Just look at the logic here for a second. The bottom number, the denominator, is always net sales. We're always asking, for every dollar of sales, how much is left? The only thing that changes is the top number, the numerator, as we go down the income statement and subtract more and more costs. It flows perfectly. Gross, then operating, then net.
Theory is cool and all, but seeing it in action is what really makes it click. So let's take a real company, Alexis PLC. Imagine they just made a sale for 1 single pound. Let's follow that pound on its journey through the company. So from that £1 sale, right off the bat, once they pay for the cost of the goods they sold, they're left with 22.1 pence. That's Chapter 1, their gross profit margin. Pretty good start.
But of course, that 22.1 pence isn't free and clear yet. They still have to pay for marketing, the office staff, rent, all the costs of just keeping the lights on. So what do you think happens next?
Well, after you subtract all those operating costs, our 22.1 pence shrinks all the way down to 10.8 pence. That's Chapter 2, the operating profit margin. You can literally see how the costs of running the business ate into that initial profit.
We are almost at the finish line, but there are still a couple of big bills left to pay. Interest on any debt the company has, and of course, taxes for the government. So what is the final, true, bottom line profit?
And there you have it, the final chapter. After every single expense is accounted for, that original £1 in sales is now just 7.4 pence of pure profit for the owners. That's the net profit margin. Seeing that journey from 22.1 down to 10.8 down to 7.4, that tells a story that's way easier to remember than any formula. So how do we guarantee this story-based method sticks with you all the way to the LECPA? Well, it is time for some brain hacks, specifically designed for long-term memory. Here are 3 really powerful ones. First, every time you see a problem, think story. What's the profit from the product itself? What's left after running the business? What's the final take-home?
Second, always compare the three ratios. Don't look at them in isolation. The real magic happens when you see how they relate to each other. And third, my favorite, teach it out loud. Seriously, explaining this to a friend or even just your bedroom wall is one of the best ways to burn it into your memory forever.
And hey, if you just need a quick memory jog during an exam, just remember GON. G for gross, that's the profit you got from your goods. O for operating, what's left after overall operations. And N for net, the profit that is now yours. Simple, right? But super effective.
Okay, let's do a super fast review of the main takeaways to make sure this all sticks.
First up, gross margin. It's all about production efficiency. How good is the company at making its stuff?
Second, operating margin. This is basically management's report card. How well are they controlling the day-to-day costs? Third, net margin. That's the final score, the ultimate bottom line. What's actually left for the owners after everyone gets paid?
Fourth, and this is a great way to check your work, the numbers always go down. Gross will always be the biggest, then operating, then net. If they don't, you might want to recheck your math.
And finally, the most important takeaway of all, understanding the story isn't just a cute trick. It is the strategy. It turns abstract numbers into a narrative, and that's exactly how our brains are wired to remember things for a long, long time.
So, I'll leave you with a question to think about. Think of your favorite coffee shop, or a big tech company like Apple, or even that little store down the street. What do you think their profitability story looks like? Applying this to the real world around you is the absolute best way to make sure you never, ever forget it. Good luck with your studies.